On September 21st, 2025, Ukraine executed a strategic drone strike against a military airbase in Crimea, a critical node in Russia's logistics and air defense network. The operation aimed to cripple the base's capabilities, degrade early warning systems, disrupt supply lines, and open pathways for subsequent Ukrainian operations. At exactly 3:10 a.m., a Ukrainian Bayraktar TB2 reconnaissance drone locked onto a distinct, deep origin signal inside enemy territory. A dual heat signature appeared, clear and sharp, auto-flagged by the AI targeting suite. Two Russian Mi-8AMTSh helicopters, each valued at roughly $16 million, had just touched down. In the underground UAV operations room in Zaporizhia, the sensor crew went nearly silent. Tension climbed, sensing an opportunity. One precise strike, and it would not be just two helicopters. The entire local supply chain would be crippled. The Mi-8s had completed a flight of nearly 2 hours, carrying over 60 troops and their kit away from the front, now undergoing routine maintenance and refueling. At 3:20 a.m., commercial infrared satellite imagery captured the heat signature on the ramp where aircraft engines were still glowing hot. A TB2 descended to 1,650 feet, utilizing its composite airframe to minimize radar detection and gather detailed video intelligence. Video relayed to the UAV command in Zaporizhia showed this was no temporary parking strip. At least two Mi-8s were staged for redeployment. Behind them sat a cluster of Nebo-U antennas, capable of detecting low observable aircraft and tracking hundreds of targets at once. Human intelligence reported hundreds of tons of fuel and ammunition in the hangars and storage yards, enough to sustain continuous air operations. Neutralizing the base would create a strategic blind spot, degrade early warning capabilities, fracture the logistics chain, and diminish air defense effectiveness. The Ghost Special Task Unit initiated a 3-layered strike plan. A UAV formation, covertly deployed for nearly 2 hours, received orders to proceed. At 3:25 a.m., the formation was less than 25 miles from the target. Leading were two UJ-22 airborne decoy UAVs, flying at 985 feet with a cruise speed of 100 miles per hour. Their sole job was to emit strong signals and jam radar bands, acting as the initial targets to draw enemy fire. Following 656 feet behind were three Liutian 196 attack UAVs, flying lower at approximately 490 feet, maintaining cruise speeds between 112 and 124 miles per hour. Each Liutian 196 carried a 165-pound shaped charge warhead. The formation flew in an arrow formation, maintaining radio silence and relying on an internal GPS-independent navigation system. At 3:27 a.m., the UJ-22 decoys entered the air defense recognition zone. A Podlet K-1 station detected anomalous contacts, triggering warning indicators. The Nebo-U switched to active mode, and a Pantsir S-1 battery on the airfield's eastern perimeter launched 257 E-6 rounds, intercepting the decoys. Two flashes lit the sky. Fireballs bloomed. UAV wreckage hit open ground less than 1,650 feet from the airfield fence. As air defenses temporarily lowered their alert level, the three Liutian 196 UAVs advanced toward the base, exploiting gaps between radar sweeps. This maneuver, pre-calculated to route through intersecting nulls of two sweep arcs, was radar evasion craftsmanship. At 3:33 a.m., the Nebo-U registered a faint return at ultra-low altitude, a dim heat band appearing on the screen edge. Alert level 2 triggered, but too late. Inside the control center, Ukrainian engineers armed the final dive mode. Automatic terminal dives locked to the pre-designated aim points. All three Liutian accelerated into their terminal run, reaching 145 to 155 miles per hour. Their carbon composite frames optimized for surprise strikes. Liutian-1 targeted the Mi-8 cluster. Liutian-2 locked onto the Nebo-U antenna, and Liutian-3 aimed for the B-12s near maintenance and refueling trucks. Behind those objective nodes lay an expeditionary fuel dump with over 1.1 million pounds of aviation fuel and distributed ammunition caches. Boom, the blast. The clock read 3:35 minutes and 23 seconds. Liutian-1 slammed into the Mi-8AMTSh's engine bay. The impact detonated into a fireball over 330 feet high that lit the entire base instantly. The shaped charge blast cooked the surrounding fuel drums. Both Mi-8s were shredded. Fuselage sections ripped apart. Rotor blades flew more than 230 feet, landing on an adjacent hangar roof. 0.8 seconds later, Liutian-3 struck the right-hand B-12. The B-12's airframe tore open. The second B-12 ignited in the ensuing chain explosion. At 3:35 minutes and 27 a.m., Liutian-2, with surgical precision, drove straight into the Nebo-U main antenna array. A dry, violent detonation ripped the night apart. Russia's eye was neutralized. The radar collapsed into a burning heap of twisted metal. The concussion echoed across a radius greater than 12.5 miles. Locals later said they thought an earthquake struck. At 3:36 minutes a.m., Russia's UHF net sent its last message. Base under attack. Radar damaged. Aircraft damaged. Requesting immediate assistance. Then silence. In under 7 minutes, the strategic airbase in Crimea lost all defensive and air control capability and burned out. Fires climbed high. Black smoke trailed for hundreds of meters. Blast pressure extended into warehouses nearly 1,970 feet away. Within 2 minutes of the impacts, at least 7 secondary detonations occurred, including fuel burns and serial detonations in B-12 munitions bunkers. Maxar imagery on the morning of September 21st showed the damage plainly. 3 Mi-8s charred to frames, 1 B-12 mangled beyond recognition. The Nebo radar collapsed, its antenna broken and inert. The ramp was blackened across more than 984 feet, with debris and smoke plumes visible from orbit. Estimated damage exceeded $180 million. The base lost 100% of its helicopter lift, its primary, early warning radar, expeditionary fuel stocks, and ammunition. Logistical operations halted. Strategic effect for Ukraine, decisive. This base was one of the few remaining expeditionary airfields in central Crimea. With the base neutralized, Moscow must rework southern logistics. Cargo flights will reroute further away, increasing transit times and detectability. The destruction of the Nebo-U radar created a 90-kilometer blind sector, opening opportunities for follow-on Ukrainian strikes. Ukraine forced Russian defenses to move, disperse, and reveal gaps. Each such response creates new targeting options for Ukraine's UAV forces. Operation Ghost was not merely a UAV strike. It was a preemptive, punitive blow that shattered a key defensive node in Crimea. Nebo's removal erased early warning on the northwest axis of the peninsula. The Mi-8 lift cluster was knocked out. Fuel and ammunition caches were destroyed, grounding air activity for 48 hours. Russia was forced to seal off the base perimeter and deploy additional air defense assets. With 3 low-flying UAVs, Ukraine turned an invulnerable base into rubble. The message was clear. In modern war, timing and tactics can outweigh expensive kit.